Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. So this video is on the best streaming settings that you can possibly have ever. Okay, these are the best streaming settings, quality for quality settings that you can use if you have a high-powered, high-cored CPU. These settings may work if you have a 8700K because it has 6 cores, 12 threads at a fast bitrate. But what I am using currently in this computer and what I tested it with was with a Ryzen 2700 non-K CPU clocked at 4.1 gigahertz and 3200 megahertz, memory clocked with 16 cast latency. What that means is that I have an above average Ryzen system. So this is the new 27,000 CPU. I don't know how big of a difference this is over the 1700 overclocked to 4 gigahertz. I haven't done any of that testing. This is for Ryzen and Intel high-end CPUs. Okay, these settings are as follows. Now, there's a lot of backstory behind these settings. The backstory behind these settings is I am not partnered with Twitch. Don't disappear. Don't go away. Oh, these settings that's a low bit rate. These settings will still work if you change your bit rate to something like 6500. I haven't tested it above 6500, but I have tested it at 6500 and I have not had any dropped frames doing so. But I want people to be able to watch my stream. I stream at 720p like a normie, like a normal everyday average person. You can also go to 1080p, but these settings may not work after that. You need to tailor this towards the audience that is going to be watching the stream. So, keeping that in mind, the first thing to deal with here is the CPU usage preset. The reason why I set it to fast. Fast is like the holy grail of the CPU usage preset for x264 encoding. The reason for this is when you set it to faster, the quality of still images compared to fast is identical. The quality of still images with faster looks better than very fast. So if you have a regular CPU like a 7700K, you might want to go for something like faster. But if you have an 8700K or you have a Ryzen system, you really should be running this at fast. The reason for this is in fast motion picture, you will get higher quality pixels when there's fast motion going on the screen. So I stream something called b-hopping in CSGO, and what this is it's very, very, very fast motion. And so I need to be able to have a clean image while I'm moving fast. And now I'm pretty sure a lot of people are already saying, oh, at that bit rate, you can't be doing 60 FPS, 720p, man. You can't be doing that, man. With these settings, it actually will look very good. The reason why I set profile to main is very special. So Twitch and YouTube, they both support high profile encoding, but the reason why you do not want it to go with high profile encoding is that it uses a little bit more horsepower than you think it will. And also when you're doing playback in things like Twitch and things like YouTube, your playback will not work on specific devices. I cannot watch my stream on my phone, for instance, when I'm streaming with the profile on high. And a lot of other devices will also not be able to actually watch your stream at high. And Twitch will also be really unhappy with you if you use high, so you might as well just use main. Keyframe 2, of course, whenever you're streaming, you should always have keyframe on 2. Tune, not important. Now these settings, this is the cream of the crop. This is why I made this video, because a lot of people don't understand what these settings do. So I'm going to go through each one of these and the reason why you should use these settings that I have here. The first one I'm going to go over is subme. Now subme is like an instruction in x264 that helps with high motion high motion, what am I trying to say here? Noise. So it will filter the noise and blur the noise. Now, of course, you're saying, why are you blurring the image? You're not blurring the image. You're blurring the frames between motion. So you're getting like a somewhat motion blur effect. Now, don't go crazy when you're streaming at 60 FPS. The reason why you want this is because that the fast motion pixels will now not look like a jumbled mess of just crazy sharp weird angle bullcrap. When you're going at 60 FPS, this will not degrade images in still frames, so it will still make everything look good. Fast pskip, this is just another way to make frames look good when they're going fast. Bframe adapt. So this is bframe adapt. What this is a better algorithm for inserting bframes into an image. A bframe is like a check frame, and you shouldn't have too many of them. So that's the reason why I set bframes to 1 every so and so. But the reason why you want this is because it makes the image look better in motion. Again, most of these settings are for better images while the image is in motion. This overall, this setting just makes X264 look good. Like, it's just a setting that you can use, and it uses almost no penalty at all. Partitions, this is just a different way to put different vectors for scanning X264 partition. So each area of the screen is getting scanned equally. That's what that means. But here's the biggest thing. You can take away everything that I have highlighted here in blue, and everything here highlighted in blue will barely increase your CPU usage. So you might as well use these settings if you can't use the next two. The next two are the biggest settings here. These are crazy settings, and they will add about 15 to 20% CPU usage when you are playing very heavily intensive games. So games like, for instance, like when I was streaming The Division. When you're streaming The Division uses a crap ton of your CPU utilization, especially while streaming. It has to do with loading in various textures and online stuff, and it's just a very strange CPU intensive game. But I tested this, and it was perfectly fine. And then I increased the merange to 30, and then my game just went crazy. I could not stream at all. So having merange at 20, let's start all over, okay? ME is an motion intensive task. So what this means is this is a different way to scan for motion vectors. So when you're moving an image on the X264 plane, so whenever you move the image, the whole entire thing has to be like, whoa, some pixels moved, right? This is a different way to scan for a pixel that has changed to a different color. So if your whole entire image moves, this is a different way to scan the image. For better, it's really complicated, but by default, this will be set to hex. If you put this as UMH, this will add a tremendous amount of CPU usage. But with a high core count CPU, it shouldn't be a problem. This makes the biggest difference when you're moving your screen like crazy, and you're doing a crazy screen moving capture, and your game has like 1,000,000 frames, and you're playing CS:GO, or you're streaming like some highly intensive stuff. This is really what you want. And then you can change merange, and you can increase that, which will also help with high motion settings. So these are the settings that I use for very, very highly detailed low bitrate streams. If you do high bitrate streams, I'm telling you, this is gonna look insane. I have the internet for it, and I've seen what you can do at 6,000. 6,000, and it looks really, really good. So should you use these settings? If you have a 7800, 8700K, I guess 7800K would also be able to. I don't know. But you have to have a high core count CPU to be able to use these settings. You could get away with, if you had a 7700K, putting this to faster and then taking away these two at the very end and keeping everything here. You could probably get away with that perfectly fine. But these two are those are the big crunching numbers. What I use to record is just this stuff. If you really want to know, this is about as good as it gets for recording regular video. And yeah, I hope this video helped you out, and you have a very nice day, and peace.